Is there sound? There is. Remove all evidence, leaves no trace behind. Okay. Oh, okay. It's like that type of puzzle game. Okay. Do you want some feedback, Smitner? Or maybe I should say Smitener, I don't know. Do you want some feedback? Not necessarily that I'm a pro, but I love looking at trailers and I get feelings when I see them, and so sometimes I can talk about what I feel, and sometimes I have ideas to make it more interesting or not. This is cool. Cool little GIF in here, I like that. Really cool GIF. Really cool GIF, especially creative with like the sizing. You could have more GIFs. You could have more GIFs, honestly, to show that you have some complexity. Maybe show one or two different mechanics in here. Just reinforce the idea of what is your game, because GIFs are sometimes way easier to parse, especially since they focus on one thing. Much easier to parse than an entire trailer or something. Hey, go for it. About to recreate it, so we'd love to hear what you think. Okay, cool. First of all, doing a trailer for a puzzle game, I think is hard. I think that would be the first thing to consider. Doing a trailer for a puzzle game, I think, is difficult, because you need to show that it's complex, but at the same time, you don't want to show too much complexity because people are not going to understand what you're doing. So it's difficult, right? First of all, I think in general, you might help the player understand what's happening, even though we understand, right? But you can help the player understand what's happening by having different zoom levels. In some situations, you could be zoomed in a bit more to make sure that the player's attention is focused. Because when you look at the screen right now, all that area in here is useless, basically, right? All that area is useless because the action is, in fact, only happening in here. So why not, in some situations, get a little bit closer and show specifically what the player is doing, right? Also, having some different camera zoom will help with the pacing a bit, because otherwise what happens is if I scroll through your game, I'm just seeing the same thing over and over again, right? So it might feel like the game is very repetitive, because every time I have something I see, and I know it's the truck, it's important, I will load things into it, but every time it's here, and we might feel like, nah, okay, it's just basically there's just one room. You're showing two puzzles in here, right? You're showing one room. Is that the same room or not? It's not the same room, but it looks similar, and then you're showing another one. So it feels like you're showing three rooms, right? So I would say this is the second problem. Maybe try to show a bit more varieties. Maybe try to show a bit more variety. So depending on how many levels you can have a moment. You will see if it fits your game or not. But you can have a moment where your character is always at the same spot on the screen, but the environment around the player changes. So you switch multiple levels one after the other to show that you have a bunch of different environments and different layouts, at least, if it's not environments. Showing the fact... Okay. I think I have a problem. I think I have a problem with the beginning of your trailer right now. I think I have a problem with the beginning of your trailer. Because I arrive in here, and first of all, you're showing me something that has pretty much nothing to do with the game. It's of course what brings me into the game and like what ties the game together, maybe that like this connection with someone that tells you what to do, right? But I don't care about that yet. It's always the same. It's always the same feedback I'm giving to people. Is at the beginning of a trailer, people don't care yet. So at first, you need to tell them why they should be interested. This is not going to tell me why I should be interested. All of that, the first 5 seconds, 6 seconds, are not telling me why I should be interested in your game. It doesn't tell me anything. So I would try to maybe start by something intriguing. So maybe I start with a camera zoom. Maybe I start with a camera zoom that is actually closer to that, where I only see I'm listening and then remove all the evidence, because it's important, right? It's kind of the gameplay. And then the guy says, got it. That lasts for like 1 or 2 seconds maximum, and then immediately you cut into the action. See, this line. This is super important. This is actually super important. Your camera should be like this. We should see that. Remove all evidence. Leave no trace behind. You can even voice over it if you want to put an emphasis on what is happening. Why is that important? Because this is a hook. This is interesting to players. They're like, oh, what is that? I want to know more. And there's this environment. I like the style. Okay, what is happening? And then boom, you directly switch into action. And when you switch into action, this in here, useless. The first shot of you doing something should be the character in here, in my opinion, the character in here, pushing that in here. Because that gives us what we need to know. This first step, useless. That second step, in my opinion, too early. We are not satisfied yet. Okay? You know what I mean? We are not satisfied yet. So create some tension. Create the feeling in the viewer of, okay, when are we done? When are we done cleaning? But not right at the beginning. Because it doesn't tell us anything, right? It doesn't tell us anything. The fact that you pushed one box and you left. Okay, it doesn't tell us anything. So in my opinion, you show multiple levels where you push stuff and you do more complex movement and stuff. For a while, you show multiple movements, and then you reward the player by showing a truck that is full and that leaves. And it gives you the ability to show that, again, maybe in bigger, maybe it should be centered, maybe it's doing something to make sure that, okay, we understand that it was a job well done, right? And then you show more complex things like that, you show a bit more complexity, etc. The pacing in here is a bit weird, right? The pacing is a bit weird. But you show more complexity, this is nice. You show that you have to do a bit more stuff. You don't have to show us that we left again, right? You're showing it once that we are leaving inside of the truck, people understand that it's the end of the level. You don't need to show it again and again and again. So that's okay. You don't even need to show that you're arriving, in my opinion. You might think that it creates a transition, but I think it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's useful. You're showing a new mechanic, and you're showing the fact that you can clean the mechanic. That you can clean the blood that you're leaving behind. So that's good because it shows you the complexity, right? So you're going crescendo. You're going crescendo by showing, hey, initially you just have boxes. It's easy. Then you have other things with obstacles and things, and then you even have bodies that are leaving blood behind. So then you will need to use something to remove those traces behind. But again, not super useful to have those 3 seconds where you see the player going back into the truck, because we obviously know that it's what is going to be the next step, right? At some point, showing again this mysterious character that is giving you instructions, right? Because at the beginning, remember, you should have something that ties the entire trailer together, maybe, especially if that is important, if that story element, right? If that story element is important in your game, if this thing with the radio is important in your game, you should show it again. And so showing it again in here, I think, is a good thing. Like, well done, because again, well done. In the trailer, you showed a bunch of different events, different complexity rising up, etc., and then boom, well done. Again, same thing, the camera should be much closer to it. We need to see it in big. Well done, you now have access to this sector, please proceed. And then boom, you show other things, and you show a bit more complexity. I think your trailer can be shorter than that, because people understand what it is about. So, for example, this section in here, it drags on for too long. It drags on for too long. So showing the fact that some of the things can actually kill you, why not? Why not? But you need to find a way to make sure that it's not too long. And so right now we have this. Okay, we go here, we die. Oh, okay. So yeah, okay, we are dead, but we respawned. Okay, and so then we are going to see how it's going to be fixed. But this is not a gameplay. This is not a playthrough, right? I don't really care exactly how you're going to do it. So don't show me everything. Don't show me everything, because that I already know, right? That I need to push things, that I need to make sure that I don't leave blood behind, I already know. And this was the only new thing in that shot, the fact that I could get killed. So I would cut it. I would cut it. Especially since this here is confusing. You're like watching the trailer and then, what happened? What happened in here? And you finished on that? Finish on something that is anchoring the understanding of the player, right? And maybe the finish, the end can be the truck leaving. Because from the beginning we are seeing the truck being loaded, so maybe it could be leaving, and you can definitely again zoom in to show the truck leaving, and the truck leaving reveals a wish list now or something, right? You could imagine your screen is like that. You have your truck initially right there. The truck leaves, and when the truck is not here, you have the wish list that was behind or something. Just a small little thing, right? I saw how to market the game, saying that you should now show at least 3 biomes, rooms, environments. Yeah, you should show the diversity if you have some, of course. Fantastic point with camera zoom and level variety. I now have a lot more to show off. I love the idea of level changing around the player. Yeah. Would you rather eat a gun or eat a cig? None. Extremely valuable advice here. I've taken a bunch of notes. Transition was the idea, but agree, not very valuable. Yeah. My intention was to leave the puzzle unsolved there. Okay. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Okay. I think that's cool. I think that's a cool thing. So, in my opinion, either you finish on something satisfying, like the thing is solved, and so it feels satisfying, or you're right, you could leave it unsolved, but it needs to be short and not too hard, so that people might have an idea of what it should be. It should not be to the point of those mobile ads that you see, right, where the solution is obvious and the person playing is definitely not playing correctly on purpose, right? It should not be that. That would be horrible. But I guess it should be simple enough that people can be like, oh yeah, I think I know what it would be, right? And it needs to be incredibly clear that you are leaving the thing unsolved, because when I saw it, I was just like, okay, I'm looking at it, okay, he's going to show me the solution, okay, he's there, and then for some reason you respawn. You could even have some text, right? You could have some text, and you could say, you have to find the answer, something like that, and you could even reuse the look of that for your trailer. You could reuse the look of that at the end. You will have to solve it, and it says wish list and whatever, something like that, right? You wipe out the blood on the floor, but it's not perfect and leaves wish list now on the floor. Yeah, something like that can be fun. Yeah, something like that can be fun too. Yeah, definitely. How are you not tired? Streaming helps with not being tired, because you have to talk to people. If the trailer makes the viewer think he's clever, it's good. Yeah. Oh, I get it. I need to do this. I need this to solve this. Yeah, I'm so clever. Exactly. Have you met an FPS system before? I met an FPS. You can check it on itch. I've met an FPS called Béton Sanglant. You can definitely check it on my itch. For some reason, nothing works. Itch. And it doesn't work. Mr. Elliptic on itch. Fantastic idea. Yeah. Hopefully this can be helpful. But yeah. Overall, I think it's great. Your Steam capsule is really cool. In this dark and mysterious block pushing puzzler, you'll navigate through a secret, hazardous laboratory complex, discover creative methods to destroy evidence, and cover up the crime of your employer. The description is good. The description is good because you start immediately by saying what kind of genre it is, so that's very great. I think your tags are also great. Sokoban, puzzle, atmospheric 2D, I think is great. The GIF in here is nice, so I just want others. I just want other GIFs in here to show me more of the game, right? Because what I usually do as a player, I take a look at the trailer pretty quickly. I go through a bunch of screenshots, and then I scroll here and I look for GIFs and I look for things. So you should definitely add that, and it will be perfect. And one last thing, you can have some text in your trailer if you want. You can have some text in your trailer, and as an example, I always show Hades 2 as an example of how to put text in a trailer, because look at that. Every time you scroll throughout the trailer, there is text at the top telling you what the section is about. And so if you scroll, you know exactly what's happening. And people are not going to watch your trailer patiently with sound on in the best situation possible. They are going to go through it and just scroll through and whatever. So if you have some text, it can be fine to leave it at the top or at the bottom. I would suggest at the top, because the bottom can be covered by the controls, right? So yeah, don't hesitate to put it at the top, and maybe explain some of the stuff. Maybe if you find that text is suited for your game, of course. But I think you can add some informations. Maybe about the variety, about the complexity, about, I don't know, right? I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for sending your game. So Hazard Pay on Steam.